Chris Paul is a serial nutshot assaulter, a groin assaulter, I believe, as top-ranked sports, Total Pro Sports published this morning. In the game last night, or Wednesday, against the Oklahoma City Thunder, Chris Paul was seen once again giving a nutshot, this time to Kevin Durant. We have the video here. Take a look.
He speaks so loudly that I can barely hear what he says. Kevin Durant just hurt himself.
Francis, this is not the first time Chris Paul has done this. Actually, it's not the first time he's even done that this year. Rudy Gobert, also known as the Stifled Tower, got stifled when Chris Paul gave him a shot in November 25th of this season. Chris Kaman last year's Clippers team against the Portland Trail Blazers. Kaman got a whole handful of Chris Paul with him. He actually grabbed his nuts, right? So that's 3, right? Yeah. 3 professional times in his NBA career he's grabbed the nuts, which is exactly how many balls Dr. Evil has. But none was worse, at least in my opinion, than what he got suspended for when he was playing at Wake Forest almost 11 years ago to the date against NC State's Julius Hodge. To have a look at that video as well.
Let's take a look at this, Tim. This is what preceded that play in the foul inside. They're trying to post up Chris Paul inside, and you can see Julius Hodge right there grabbing Chris Paul, holding his hand. And this is it as it goes along, and you see the punch right there.
Francis, the topic of discussion here, my friend, is whether or not the NBA should fine and or suspend Chris Paul. They have to prove if it was intentional. Do you think it was intentional? Do you think he should get a fine?
Really quick on this. They really should take it individually by a case. This one against Kevin Durant looks a little suspect to me in terms of saying that he deliberately tried to do that. For me, in any sport, you try to get space. You move your hand, like in football, people slap each other in the face and they'll get fouled on it. Right. It's just trying to get yourself the space. The other examples, some of them are night and day. Like you can clearly tell the one in college is so obvious that he's going to do that, right? So he's using it almost as if it's his height to his own advantage, because he's small, and these guys are probably, he's sometimes up to that level of them. It's just a quick bang, and it's going to obviously stop them in their tracks. This specific example, I don't think it looks intentional. And I watched it in real time in the game, and I had to watch it back a few times to see. I don't think he should be fined for that. It is something that they're not going to look at this individually. They're going to take into context the fact that Chris Paul is a serial nutshot offender in some terms. And I'm glad, I wish we knew this before we did our nutshot clip, Jason, and I would have said, I don't want to get hit in the nuts by Chris Paul, because the chances are pretty likely I might get hit in the nuts.
I was going to say, first of all, how do you know they're not going for the knees and then he just ends up hitting their third leg the entire time? Because some of these guys, look, they're 7 feet tall proportionally. Just think about it. You're right. They have to prove intent. As Dave Chappelle always said in his skits, that you need things in slow motion always look better, always look cooler. Well, in Chris Paul's case, it's probably not going to go well for him. The league likes Chris Paul. Like, the executives like Chris Paul. He's the head of the players union. He's a smart guy. Some players have beefs with him because he does whine, he complains, he jumps around, he cries about it. We get it.
Francis Maxwell all over the back.
Oh, that's disgusting. It's just a matter if they can find intent, Francis, and if they do find intent, he'll be suspended a game. It's really not a huge deal for the Clippers, because it's probably just one game. Definitely Chris Paul's problem, though, would be to stop hitting guys in the nuts. Yeah. Regardless if they're intentional. Go higher or go lower.
Or maybe, just maybe, he heard a little rumor that the lanky man with the long limbs that is Kevin Durant wasn't so long just in his arms, but if you know what I mean, he tried to get a handful and see if truth was there. Could it be? Do you think there was intent there? Do you think the league should fine Chris Paul? Let us all know what you think in the comment section below. As always, come back to TYT Sports, where laughter is everywhere.